बल्लभा जय गिरिवर तारी, जय गिरिवर तारी। जय यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन, यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन, यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन, यमुना तीरा वनचारी, जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी, जय जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद शिल प्रभुपाद जय पाद जय जय प्रभुपाद। जय हो विष्णुपाद परमहंस डिवाइन ग्रेस AC भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। जय हो विष्णुपाद परमहंस डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। वृंदावन धाम की जय। मथुरा धाम की जय। गंगा मई की जय। जमुना मई की जय। तुलसी देवी की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। सामवेद भक्तविंद की जय। हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। बृहद मृदंग की जय। गौर प्रेमानंदी हरि हरि बोल। All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishwadaya Krishna Bhutli Shate Kapal Krishna Swami Namne Prabhupada Sasayatam Prakasayate Sapachanam नमो विश्वदाय कृष्णस्ताय भूतले श्रीते उत्यान सरस्वती नमस्ते सरस्वती गौरवाणी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
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 So we are continuing our study of Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, chapter 47, and today's verse is verse 32. Yendriyarthan dhyayayeta mrisha swapanna vad uttita tan nirudhyayat indriyani vinidra pratyapadyata yendriyarthan dhyayeta mrisha swapan yat uttita tannirudhyad indriyani vinidra pratapadyata indriya yendriyarthan dhyayeta mrisha swapan vad uttita tannirudhyat indriyani vinidryas pratyapadyata yendriyarthan dhyayeta mrisha swapan vad uttita tannirudhyat indriyani vinidra pratyapadyata mrisha swapan vad uttita tannirudhyat vinidya pratyapadyata indriyartham dhyayeta mrisha swapan vad uttita tannirudhyat indriyani vinidra pratyapadyata yendriyarthan dhyayeta mrisha swapan vad uttita tannirudhyat indriyani vinidra pratyapadyata indriyarthan dhyayeta Mrisha swapan vadutita. Tan nirutyad indriyani. Vendriya praptya padayata. Word for word meaning? Yena, by which mind, indriya, of the senses, arthan, upon the objects, dhyayeta, one meditates, mrisha, false, swapanvat, like a dream, utita, arising from sleep, tat, that, mind, nirandhyat, one should bring under control, indriyani, the senses, vinidra, not sleeping, alert, pratyapadyata, they obtain. Translation and purport by disciples of Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. As a person just arisen from sleep may continue to meditate on a dream, even though it is illusory, so by the agency of the mind, one meditates on the sense objects, which the senses can then obtain. Therefore, one should become fully alert and bring the mind under control. Please repeat. As a person just arisen from sleep may continue to meditate on a dream, even though it is illusory. So, by the agency of the mind, one meditates on the sense objects, which the senses can then obtain. Therefore, one should become fully alert and bring the mind under control. Purport. The word pratipad means to be perceived or restored. The soul, that is vinidra, free from the dreamlike condition of material consciousness, is restored to its constitutional position as an eternal servitor of the Lord, Sri Krishna. And thus the soul is directly perceived by pure consciousness. Om Jnana Trimandasya Jnananjana Shalakya Chakshuranvitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vancha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaevacha Patitanam Bhavni Bhayo Vaishnavi Bhayo Namo Nama Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So the verse again, I'm sorry, my tongue is Yendriyartham Dhyayeta Mrisha Swapan Vaduttita Tan Nirutyat Indriyani Vinidra Pratyapadyate. As a person just arisen from sleep may continue to meditate on a dream, even though it is illusory. So, by the agency of the mind, one meditates on the sense objects, which the senses can then obtain. Therefore, one should become fully alert and bring the mind under control. So, what happens when the mind is under control? As it said in the verb, this patipad said in the purport, it means that it is to be perceived and it is to be restored, which when the soul, which is free from all of the dreamlike conditions, so when the soul, which is not in material consciousness, naturally it is not in material consciousness, but so when the soul gets out of the dreamlike condition of material consciousness, just as we wake up from sleep, awake, and we've had a dream, and we keep thinking of that dream, that's an illusion. Similarly, the soul, when it is in material consciousness, it feels like it is in this material world, and that is how it keeps going through this material world. We do this all the time. We're consciously we're under the influence of all our senses. But when the soul gets free from this dreamlike condition of material consciousness, then it recognizes, it perceives, and it is restored to its natural condition, which is eternal servant of the Lord. Okay, so, and that is the Satchidanand condition, which is always blissful. So we're going to just read a little bit of the tikas of the acharyas and then try to speak a little bit about it. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, Gyan Yoga bears fruit when the mind is restrained. This verse deals with restraining the mind. By the mind, a man in waking states meditates on material objects. In dream as well, by mind, he meditates on dream objects, even though they are false. Thus the mind and senses should be restrained, which is impossible to do just in this Kali Yoga, with the normal way. For the gopis, he says, waking, the following meaning is giving. Waking from a swooning condition, a person like you rejects the mind which dwells on objects of the senses, such as seeing and touching me, tasting the nectar of my lips and embracing me, which, though real, because they come from an actual appearance in this world, appear false as in dream state. So, even though nothing about Krishna is material, and nothing about the gopis really is sense, is related to senses. But Krishna here in his message to the gopis is saying that just wake up from this kind of swooning condition, which is based on your ability to see me with your senses when I'm present there. And it is from touching me, from embracing me, and all of those. It says, it is real, but it appears false in this dream state. So because I've left you and I'm in this, you're not able to see me, it feels like a dream. So get out of that kind of consciousness. And he said, because of that, without sleep, you appear with my eyes. Sorry, we appeared with eyes and other senses devoid of agna, sandalwood, and color. I know that though I gave you all sorts of enjoyment, you, blinded by attraction, pained by separation, losing all discretion, consider all that enjoyment false. So, Krishna is basically saying that you can still enjoy me. Do not feel devoid of my presence, because I'm always present. And just get out of that dreamlike state and realize that I'm always here and enjoy it. Then Jiva Goswami says that when a person awakes by the mind, he thinks of sense objects seen in his dream, though they are false, and by that enjoys them with his senses. With attention, one should control the mind. And then the second meaning is as follows. Your sfurti is similar to the directly meeting you, but it does not occur at all the times. There is one method for manifesting the sfurti during separation, which appears to external vision. One must control the mind. So he's telling the devotees, or the gopis and the devotees, that by controlling the mind, which is influenced by externals, get out of that and actually see me within and know that I'm here, and do that by controlling your mind. He says, as long as I do not return, control your minds. So, and then Sanatana Goswami says, no one except you can see me, revealing myself everywhere as the Antaryami, stimulating all the senses, since they are attached to material objects. So as long as we're attached to material objects, we cannot see Krishna. We don't know he's with us all the time. And he's telling them, the gopis, he's saying all of them should restrain the mind from sense objects, which in this case, they're liberated souls, and they're not attached to sense objects. But they are attached to their sensory perception of Krishna. So when they're away from Krishna, and when they can't see Krishna, when they can't touch Krishna, when they can't feel Krishna, they are in misery. And so he's saying, Sanatana Goswami is saying, all of them should restrain the mind from sense objects. By stating this, he glorifies the gopis. So when a person awakes by the mind, he thinks of sense objects seen in his dreams, though they are false, and by that enjoys them with his senses. With attention, one should control the mind. But being without Maya, Vinidra, my devotee attains me, Pratyapadyata, in all his senses. So he's glorifying the gopis, in fact. On one hand, he's telling them, stop being in a dreamlike state. But then, in explaining what that means, he's saying, you can really do this, and you are above all of this. And Sanatana Goswami says that this past tense is used, which basically emphasizes the fact that the gopis have already attained. And he's not telling them to attain that state. They're already in that state. And they have been in that state for births after births, appearances after appearances. So, how do we control that mind? Through the mantra. Mantra means man. Mana means mind. And tra means to transport it, to transcend it. So mantra is the word for transcending the mind. And what is the mantra? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And this mantra has the power for us, the reciters, to connect to our spiritual goal, to Krishna. So if we chant this mantra as if our life depended on it, which it does. So if we chant it like that, with full attention, full surrender, full love, then there's absolutely no reason that we could not connect to Krishna. In Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 17:133, it said, Nam Chintamani Krishna, Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha, Purna Shuddho Nitya Mukto, Abhinatva Nama Namino. Means, Nam Chintamani Krishna, Nam, the holy name. Nam is the holy name. Chintamani it's a transcendental, blissful giver of all spiritual benediction. It refers to a lot of time to the touchstone, because the touchstone gives you what you want. But it is really anything that gives the spiritual benediction. So the Nam, the holy name, is Chintamani. Krishna, not different from Krishna. Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha is a form of all transcendental mellows. So the Nam, Chintamani, is non-different from Krishna, and it is the form of all the transcendental mellows. It's Purna. Purna, complete. It's Shuddha, pure, without material contamination. And that's really what the gopis' senses are. Even though Krishna is saying, forget about those senses. Gopis' senses are pure. They're free from all material contamination. Nitya, eternal. Nitya is it's eternal. So the Nam is Chintamani, it's pure, it's non-different from Krishna, it gets us to the transcendental mellows, it's complete, it's got no contamination, it's eternal. Mukta. Mukta is liberated. Abhinatvat, due to not being different. Nam, of the holy name. Namino, and of the person who has the name. So, the translation for that verse is, the holy name of Krishna is transcendently blissful. It bestows all spiritual benediction, for it is Krishna himself, the reservoir of all pleasure. Krishna's name is complete, and it is the form of all transcendental mellows. It is not a material name under any condition, and it is no less powerful than Krishna himself. Since Krishna's name is not contaminated by the material qualities, there is no question of its being involved with Maya. Maya is the material contamination. Krishna's name is always liberated and spiritual. It is never conditioned by the laws of material nature. This is because the name of Krishna and Krishna himself are identical. So, we have it all. But we don't recognize it. I chant, sit there, chant, but I don't see Krishna. I chant because I have to chant. After all these years, I guess the good thing is that I'm still chanting. And that's what my Gurudev says, well, just keep chanting. Don't worry about where you're going. Just keep chanting. But Krishna and his holy name is not different. And the acharyas tell us that as soon as we say Hare Krishna, or as soon as we see Krishna, he appears before us. We just need to get rid of these material senses, get above these material senses, get above the material contamination, get out of it, and then we will see Krishna. When we say Hare Krishna, we will see Krishna. We will see Krishna dancing on our tongue. I heard a story, somebody over 100 years ago was in Vrindavan, and he was asking everyone, how do I see Krishna in Vrindavan? Where do I find Krishna? How do I see Krishna? And some of the realized devotees laughed and said that you don't just see Krishna like that, you get struck by thunderbolt. Krishna in the form of thunderbolt first. And what is that thunderbolt? It's Nam. It's the holy name. We don't want the holy name. It seems like it's a hard thing to adopt. It's a hard thing to start chanting. It's a hard thing to give the holy name the attention that it deserves. He asks for attention. And we're not able to give that. But that's the thunderbolt. Ultimately, Krishna in his form as holy name is like thunderbolt. He will finally attack and destroy all material contamination. And then they said, you will see Shyamasundar Krishna. That's when you will see Krishna. You will not see Krishna otherwise. In the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 13th chapter, Krishna is talking to Uddhava, and he's talking about how the human beings are so overwhelmed by sense gratification. And that's what binds them to the three modes of material nature. And then, while he's talking to Uddhava about it, he explains how he himself, the Lord himself, in the form of Hansa, swan incarnation, he appeared in front of Brahma and his sons and explained this whole science of how to get out of this material contamination. These modes are so complex that when his sons asked Brahmaji about them, Lord Brahma was confused. He couldn't answer, even though he's most knowledgeable being. So he went to Krishna, and then Krishna appeared as the Hansa avatar, Hansa incarnation, the swan incarnation, and spoke. So I thought it would be good to read a few of those verses. 11th Canto 13 chapter, and starting from verse 25, Hans Avatar said, "My dear sons, the mind has a natural proclivity to enter into the material sense objects, and similarly, the sense objects enter into the mind. But both this material mind and the sense objects are merely designations that cover the spirit soul, who is part and parcel of me." So he was teaching all these sages and some of the top, purest devotees. This was the 4 Kumaras and Brahmaji. And he's telling them that yes, though these are all 3 modes of material nature and they're covered and they're covering the pure soul. So what do we need to do? Just peel off these and this pure soul is revealed. And in the purport, disciples of Prabhupada said, Srila Sridhar Swami points out that the symptom of the material mind is the tendency to consider oneself to be the ultimate doer and subject. Doer and enjoyer. Naturally, one with such puffed up mentality is helplessly attracted by material sense objects. One who considers himself to be the doer and enjoyer will be irresistibly attracted to the means for attaining sense gratification and false prestige, namely exploitation of material objects. Last time we were talking about, this whole desire always for material objects. The best iPad, the best iPhone, the phones and the best cars and everything. So it's only when we get out of that, when the mind and senses are attracted to material enjoyment, the superior intelligence must immediately detect such illusion. So, one of the reasons we chant, even though we're not seeing Krishna on our tongue, is Cheto Darpan Marjana. By chanting, our heart becomes cleansed. And as it becomes cleansed, our intelligence our intelligence becomes more active. It becomes superior. And with that, we can detect the illusion. In this way, one should purify one's mentality. By devotional service to the Lord, such detachment and intelligence automatically awaken. Of course, our number 1 devotional service, according to our Acharya, is chanting the holy name. But then all of the other devotional service is just as important. Serving the deities, dressing the deities, cooking for the deities, cleaning the deities' the kitchen, cleaning the deities' temple, maintaining the deities' dham, the holy dham. Every bit of the holy dham is spiritual, transcendental. And any service we do to that dham awakens our intelligence and detachment. And then through that, we fully understand our original spiritual form, our spiritual situation, and we are properly situated in our eternal consciousness. In the next verse, 26, Hansa Avatar and Krishna here to Uddhava says, a person who has thus achieved me by understanding that he is not different from me realizes that the material mind is lodged within the sense objects because of constant sense gratification, and that the material objects are existing prominently within the material mind. Having understood my transcendental nature, he gives up both the material mind and its objects. So just as in the purport it said, just as the sun's rays are part of the sun, the living entities are part of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And when we are completely absorbed in our identity as the part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, we become wise, get the intelligence, and easily give up the material mind and sense objects. The word madrupa in this verse indicates absorption of the mind in the form, qualities, pastimes, associates of the Supreme Personality of Lord. Got it. That's why Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, Jam Karm Chame Devyam Evam Yovati Tatvata. He's saying, my activities, my appearances, my disappearances, they're all transcendental and become absorbed in them. And that person who knows them, who is absorbed in them, he gets him eventually. So here, immersed in such ecstatic meditation, one should render devotional service to the Lord. So, all our devotional service, chanting, cleaning, dressing, artik, cooking, they're not chores. Washing the pots. Our friend Divine here is always serving in the kitchen. Prabhu, Parikshit Priya Prabhu, he's always serving in the kitchen and scrubbing the pots. So, all that is devotional service. And when we do that, immersed in the qualities, form, pastimes, associates of the Lord, when we're thinking of them while we're doing all of our service, we will automatically become free of the influence of sense gratification. And see, by ourselves, we don't have the potency to get rid of those. But by the devotional service in keeping Krishna in the center, always remembering him, always thinking about him, that's how we get the potency to scrub everything off, get rid of the sense gratification, rise above all that and realize our natural position. We know it all theoretically. Now it's time to learn it practically. I mean, we're just so fortunate that His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, has given us everything, all the tools. We don't need deep philosophy. We're not going to learn it from deep philosophy. We will only learn it through experience, and that experience would only come through practice, through practical service. Oh no, I have such a big sink full of pots to clean. No. I'm so fortunate that Radharani has allowed me in her kitchen. We cannot get in that kitchen downstairs to do even a slightest bit of service without Radharani allowing it, us. So the fact that Radharani allows us to serve Krishna is our fortune given by His divine grace. So we need to just have that mental state, always absorbed in them. Like we talked last week or a couple of weeks ago about Radharani. We follow Radharani. We worship Radharani because Krishna loves Radharani. We worship Krishna because Krishna loves Radharani. And ultimately, by worshipping Radharani, we get Krishna. So I think we're over time. Okay, but anyways, I will read the next one because it's also wonderful. This whole series from 25 to around 31 explain all of the material contamination and how to do it. Waking, sleeping, and deep sleep are the three functions of the intelligence and are caused by the modes of material nature. The living entity within the body is ascertained to possess characteristics different from these three states and thus remain as a witness to them. So, waking, sleeping, and deep sleep. Waking is in mode of goodness. We're awake, we're conscious, we can follow our intelligence. Then sleeping in the dream kind of a state is in the mode of passion. And the deep sleep is in the mode of ignorance. So, but our soul is not affected by any of this, and it's above all of this. It always remains above. We just have to dig it out from under and get perfection. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Goloka Nanda ki jai, Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol.
Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Kandar Agom Vikamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasa Sakalen Priya Priti Manti Vasyan Vipan Vikayanti Jiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam
everyone. Dainya O Prapati, Srila Narottama Das Thakur. Hari Hai Dayala Mora Jaya Radhana Jaya Radhana Bara Bara E Bara Laho Nijasa Bara E Bara Laho Nijasa Bahudyoni Brahminata Loinu Shara Brahminata Loinu Shara Nija Gune Kripa Gora Adamatara Jagatakarana Tumi Jagata Jiva Jagata Jiva Toma Chadakara Nahi Heradarama Heradarama Bhuvana Mangala Tumi Bhuvanirpati Bhuvanirpati Tome upekile nata ki hoy begati Bhaviyate kinue Jagata Majare Jagata Majare Toma bina kehanahi Edase udare Kehase udare Hari Hai Dayala Mora Jaya Radhana Jaya Radhana Baro Baro E Baro Laho Nijasa Laho Nijasa Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Jaya Radha Goloka Nanda, Jaya Radhe Radhe Hare, Radha Goloka Nanda, Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radha Goloka Nanda, Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe, Golokananda, Jaya Radhe Jaya Radhe, Jaya Giri Govardhana, Jaya Giri Govardhana, Govardhana, Jaya Giri Govardhana, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. O Hari, O my merciful Lord, all glories to you, O Lord of Radha. Again and again I have pleaded with you, and now I beg you yet again to accept me as your own. O Lord, hopelessly taking birth over and over, I have now come to you for refuge. Please show your merciful nature and deliver this wretched soul. You are the cause of the universe and its very life. Other than you, O lover of Radha, there is no shelter. You bring about auspiciousness for the world, and you are the master of all the worlds as well. O Lord, what will become of me if you forsake me? I have understood, after contemplating my predicament, that within this world there is no one who can deliver this servant but you. O Hari, Srila Narottama Das Thakur ki jai. Cheto Darpana Marjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam Sriya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadu Jivanam Ananda Buddhi Vadanam Pratipadam Purnam Swadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate. Bhagavan mamapi Durdaiva Medrishamiha Janina Nuragaha Trinarapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sahishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari Nadanam Nadanam Nasundarim Kavitamba Jagadisha Kamaye Mama Janmani Janmaneshvare Bhavatad Bhaktayurtuki Tvayi Aina Danuja Kinkara Patita Mam Vishame Bhavambudo Pribhaya Tava Para Pankaja Stita Duli Satrisham Vinchandaya Nayanam Galara Shrudaraya Madgara Rudar Gira Pulakar Nichitam Vapukara Tavagamama Davai Vabhishati Yuga Yutam Nimeshena Chakshusha Pravishayitam Sunyayitam Jagat Sarvam Govinda Virahena Me Ashli Shabhavadam Samam Adarshamam Vardhapan Karutuva Yata Tata Vidadato Lambato Matprana Natastu Saeva Naparaha. Victory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the life, conditional life, of competed birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. O my Lord, congregational chanting of your holy name alone, and all benedictions. And thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these names, all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names.